I speak 9 languages, the man said, and the millionaire laughed like it was a joke. Under the restless neon of a late-night cafe, the scene looked absurd. A well-dressed Arab tycoon, his driver, and beside them a barefoot man with tangled hair, a long beard, and a scruffy dog named Buddy pressed against his leg. The driver had dropped his employer's wallet. Kevin picked it up and handed it back. Instead of the expected pleading for coins, the homeless man met the millionaire's amusement with quiet dignity. "Then prove it," the millionaire challenged. Kevin obliged. In fluent French, he complimented the man's robe. In perfect Spanish, he dropped a line that slipped like water off his tongue. Italian, Portuguese, Mandarin, each language arrived polished and calm, as if they'd all lived in his mouth for years. People slowed. The laughter that had been loud and confident dissolved into something a little smaller, a little uncertain. When the man, Sheikh Omar, finally asked for Arabic, Kevin's voice softened and unfurled phrases that sounded like home. Classical turns of speech and local proverbs that tugged at a memory Omar hadn't known he'd kept. For a moment the street fell away. All that remained was Kevin's steady voice and the truth it carried. "Where did you learn this?" Omar asked. "Everywhere," Kevin said. "Books left behind, conversations overheard, libraries that don't ask questions. Survival teaches a man to listen." There was curiosity now, not mockery. Omar ordered dinner and insisted Kevin and Buddy join him. Kevin hesitated. The street had taught him caution, but Buddy nudged his leg like a small, earnest vote for trust. They went. At the restaurant, the staff's eyes widened. Kevin fed Buddy first, watching the dog devour the food as if that gesture were a confession of who he truly was. Omar noticed. There was something in that simple act, loyalty before self, that cut through titles and money. Over the meal, Omar told Kevin why he'd stopped a major negotiation the next day with delegations from Europe, Latin America and Asia. A single mistranslation could lose millions. A wrong word, a slight insult, Omar said, everything falls apart. Kevin listened. "Words are doors," he said. "When one closes, another opens." He'd learned to pick locks by listening. Tourists asking for directions, vendors cursing in dialects, pages of abandoned books. Language, he explained, had kept him alive. Omar looked at him differently. "Come with me tomorrow," he offered. "Sit quietly. When needed, speak." They lodged Kevin and Buddy in a hotel that night. A soft bed, warm sheets, running water, things that had become rare miracles. Kevin lay awake, the city's distant hum muffled by curtains. For the first time in a long while, he let himself imagine a day that wasn't about surviving the hour. The next morning, dressed in clothes lent by the hotel staff, Kevin braced himself as they entered the conference hall. Suits and accents filled the marble room. Each person guarded language like armor. Omar introduced Kevin simply as an observer. Kevin stayed quiet until a translator stumbled and a crucial nuance threatened to flare into disaster. Kevin stepped in, corrected the phrasing, and steered the conversation back on course. The room went quiet. Then, slowly, heads turned, and respect spread across faces like a light. Language after language, Kevin bridged gaps the official translators missed. He didn't crave the spotlight, he wanted to be useful. By the end of the day, contracts were signed and handshakes exchanged. Deals worth fortunes depended on the small corrections he'd made. Omar's satisfied smile was a kind of vindication. Kevin hadn't just converted words, he'd steadied trust. Reporters swarmed, flashes popping, but Omar steered Kevin away from the chaos and toward decisions about his future. Kevin's requests were modest: a roof, steady work, food for Buddy. Omar laughed softly at their simplicity, and promised more than that. In time, Kevin would be given a position to oversee translations. Not because he was polished or ambitious, but because he listened with a skill that smoothed tensions and revealed intention. Kevin's life shifted slowly. He traveled with Omar to meetings and delegations, Buddy always at his side, tail wagging through rooms full of power. Executives who first dismissed him began to call on him directly. Local papers ran articles about the homeless translator who saved deals. Kevin grimaced at the headlines. Fame made him uneasy, but Omar reminded him of the value of the story, proof that talent exists everywhere. Even with the change, Kevin kept small rituals that anchored him, whispering to Buddy each night, refusing to coddle away the memory of the streets that had made him resilient. He kept his old jacket hung by the door, weathered and smelling faintly of rain, a relic of the life that forged him. Slowly, stability followed. Kevin moved into a modest apartment paid for by his new salary. He learned to walk the city without flinching at every noise. When he saw someone curled under a bridge, a boy with hollow eyes and a half-eaten sandwich, Kevin folded himself small and offered half of his own meal and a few quiet words. "Someone once stopped for me. Now I stop for you." Omar, moved by Kevin's story and the larger need he saw around him, helped establish a foundation in Kevin's name to teach languages and open doors for disadvantaged youth. Kevin resisted at first. He didn't want his name in lights, but he agreed when he understood the work would help others find not only words, but dignity. At the foundation's opening, Kevin spoke simply. "I was invisible. Languages made me seen, but loyalty, my dog taught me that, is what kept me alive. I hope this helps others find their voices and their worth." Applause rolled through the hall. Buddy barked, proud and unfazed by the attention. Years passed, and Kevin never let comfort erase where he came from. He continued to travel and teach, to return to the streets with blankets and sandwiches. He and Omar would go back sometimes to the neon cafe where they'd first met. They'd sip tea and laugh about that night, about a wallet and a man who spoke many tongues like a key ring of little miracles. On the anniversary of that chance meeting, the two of them sat together with Buddy at their old spot. Rain began to fall, soft and forgiving. Omar raised his cup. "To 9 languages," he said. Kevin scratched Buddy behind the ears, smiling. "And to one truth," he replied. A truth that needed no translation loyalty. Buddy barked once, sealing the toast, as if to say yes, that was the whole story.